Okay, this is the world's biggest roadblock, in my opinion, for small business. It's you, okay? It's me, it's you, it's us. It's the entrepreneur. It's the one that, okay, so I got a little list here of things I'm gonna go over real quickly. So, number one, doing $10 an hour jobs. There's tons of books on this, videos, everything else in the world. We all know this, we're all guilty of it. Are you mowing your own lawn? Are you running to take your car to the shop to get it repaired? Now again, when if you're a startup and you're a one-man or two-man show or whatever, two-woman show, you know what I mean, then that's different. But when you have employees, you gotta have people that help you. So what I have is I actually have two people. I have a facilities guy, because you gotta have a facilities guy, because I got a building, they gotta maintain the building and everything else. What it costs me to have a facilities company come in and clean my facility is almost equivalent to this guy's salary, okay? So now instead of having someone come in 3 times a week cleaning bathrooms and wiping floors and stuff like that, I got a full-time employee. This full-time employee also takes care of all the stuff for me. I don't know if you guys know anything about me. My wife runs an animal rescue, which is, we have a 96-acre farm animals, every domestic animals, everything under the sun. That's why I'm still working, because my wife is a professional nonprofit. She's the best nonprofit person in the world. So anyway, but this guy helps out with all this stuff. He does all the running around. Right now, my truck's getting taken in because the low coolant light came on. You know how these projects work. Oh, I just got to take the truck and I'll drop it off real quick. Doesn't take much time. Well, then you got to do the follow-up call. You got to find out what's going on with it. Then you got to do this. Then it's going to be out for 3 days and everything else. You want to have it where someone just handling that stuff for you. It's literally to the point where he's scheduling his appointments, going to his appointments, stuff like that. Getting out of those $10 an hour jobs is important. Now, on the flip side, I know some people are thinking like me, I love sitting on my tractor and plowing 50 acres because I got my headset on, I'm listening to a book, and it's me time. That's a different story. That's something where I'm doing something to relax and enjoy myself. But when you're being torn from your job, the things that you're good at, things that you're needed to be doing to do $10 an hour jobs, that's a big problem. You should eliminate those as much as you can. Okay, so services, startup. I'm still guilty to this day, guilty to this day, is friends and family. You do stuff for a discount. You do stuff for, as a favor, helping them out, stuff like that. We all have to do this stuff. We give back to the community. We help out. That's all important stuff. All I'm asking is to be careful of what they're telling people. Oh, yeah, well, Derek did this, but it only cost this much money. Well, that's not the normal price. So now when that person comes to me for the same kind of work, now I'm saying, well, actually, no, it's way more than that. I was doing that as a favor, whatever kind of thing. So if you're going to be doing stuff for that, make sure people understand your value. Getting organized. I'm looking right at Lyle. So inbox, email. If your email box is full, your inbox, I'll go on all day. You got to get your emails under control. Get someone who's handling it for you. So you're not getting sent all those emails. These are roadblocks. These are time sucks. These are things that you're doing all day long. You got all these emails you're scrolling through for the one that's important you're supposed to be dealing with. There's ways to be organized on the emails and have the emails, help you, not, run you. Okay, so the classic question, are you working on the business or in the business, right? That's what we all have to ask ourselves. That's what every entrepreneur organization you ever be part of. Are you in the business or on the business? So I took it upon myself one day to log my time for 4 weeks because I was curious about this. I'm wondering what's going on. Well, the good and bad news. Ends up I was working about 70 hours a week, which that part doesn't bother me because I do love working. My kids are grown now. My wife's busy with the rescue, and I love what I do. But then I looked at all the entries. I actually logged all my time of what I did. And I realized there's a good third of that time on things I shouldn't be doing. I have people that do those things. And I thought it was a real nice self-check, and something I'm probably going to start doing every year now to make sure that there's things that, and maybe just things that I didn't realize I'm doing that I could have someone else do. So really looking at your time, where you're spending your time. Something my dad, when I started my own company, he's like, well, you have to work there every day, be there every day, and stuff like that. I'm like, yes, I know, but I look at it, I don't want to be in the business every day. I want to be working on the business. I want to be doing stuff like this, meeting people, going out, doing stuff. I look at these people that have owned these businesses, second generation, third generation, and it's the same guy standing behind the counter to do the service. And that's not growing a business. That's maintaining a business. If you're always standing there doing the day-to-day, you're never going to grow. So that back to having the people, the vendors, picking the right clients. Okay, so another thing that I think we're guilty as entrepreneurs is not asking for advice. It took me a long time to realize I don't know much. I think that's true with most people when they're young. We think we know everything and we can do anything and all this stuff, and then we realize one day, and it's when our parents get so happy that we're like, oh, my parents really do know stuff. I really am, not as smart as I thought I was. So getting part of business groups, organizations, things like that are critical. But it's not just being part of a chamber and things like that. I mean, those events and whatever, they're fine. But I'm talking about a group of people that hold you accountable, that you meet with on a regular basis, that you tell them, these are your objectives, these are your goals, this is where you're taking the company, this is what you want to do, whether it's your personal life, your business life, everything else, and they hold you accountable for it. Next time they're meeting you, they're asking you, so where are you at with this? Where are you at with that? What happened with this thing? So those are those are the business groups that help you grow. Those are also the business groups that they're growing themselves, and you're holding them accountable, and they're the ones that want to grow. So when you're surrounding yourself around people that want to grow, you're going to be a lot more successful. Sorry, I'm skipping around a little bit here. And I'm almost out of time. Quickly value processes. Pricing. Okay, so this is a quick story. So pricing our shop, we're a service shop, okay? So we're just hourly billing, okay? We don't actually have a product for Spud. So we charge, for the longest time, we're charging $85 an hour, okay? And then, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, maybe we raised it to $110, okay? Everywhere else in the world is charging, between $150, $175, as much as $250 an hour. For some design work that we're doing, one of our competitors actually charged $350 an hour. So here's the situation, and we'll all go through this if we haven't already, is you have to raise your prices. So that's the biggest scare, right? If we raise our prices, we're going to lose customers. If we raise our prices, everyone's going to tell us to go pound sand and never do business with us again. So I wrote this letter to tell our clients we're raising our rates. We're raising them from $110 to $125 if they prepay the hours. If they don't prepay, it's $175 an hour. So this was to do two things. One, to get prepaid, makes collections a lot easier, so we don't have any. We make sure we're doing the work after we've been paid instead of doing it before we get paid and hope to get paid. But it's also showing that, well, we could be charging $175, we're only charging $125, but you got to prepay. So I write this letter, and I sit on it for months. I have my dad read it. I got some people at work reading it. You got to send it out. Send it out. I'm like, I'm scared to death because you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it was going to every one of our clients. We're raising our prices across the board. Some of these clients have been with me for almost 20 years. So I send the letter out. I'm not kidding. I didn't sleep. I was freaking out, worried, everything else. 2 phone calls. Both of them were, yeah, Derek, I understand. So do we prepay? Like, how many hours we got to prepay for? That was it. Everyone was completely understanding. It was only a 2 or 3 paragraph letter, but I was so scared to raise our rates, and it was all that worry was for nothing. So anyway, charging the rates of what you're worth is critical. And again, I know, especially for newer entrepreneurs, stuff like that, it's very difficult because you want to get the work, you want to get the business, you got to get out there, and these things evolve over time. Okay, so another thing about us entrepreneurs is dealing with issues. I talked about this a little bit earlier with not mentioning my mother-in-law. This is something that had to happen, and because, I mean, your bookkeeper is one of your most important positions. I mean, not just payroll, paying invoices, collections, things like that. But the fact is, she was awesome at her previous job. She did invoice collections. She didn't do payroll. She didn't do invoicing outbound. It was 2 separate departments. So I hired her to have her do this stuff, and I gave her more responsibility than what she was ready for. I didn't have the processes in place for her, and I basically set her up to fail. And I still had to have Thanksgiving some days, with her. So it was really dicey, and it all worked out very well, and everything's fine. And matter of fact, she's coming over our house tonight to hang out. So it worked out good. But the fact is having the people in the right, the right, what was that, right position, right person, right seat. That's the phrase, right? We're small business. We can't always have the right person, right seat. We're not corporate America. We can't sit there and have 4 people in this department, and some days we have work for them, some days we don't. Who cares? Because corporate's paying for it. We're small business. So right person, right seat isn't always going to happen either. You're going to have situations where people are doing jobs they're not very good at doing, but if you have processes in place and have the steps that they need to take to do those things, they have a much better chance of succeeding. Okay, so